I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish family in Johannesburg, South Africa. I was very proud to be Jewish, and I was very proud to come from a prestigious Jewish family. We were very religious too. I'm a Levite. It means you have to be present at all the big stuff that's happening at the synagogue. My life was two parts. First, it was extremely religious. In fact, out of all my siblings, I would say that I was the most religious. So I used to put on tefillin, phylacteries, every morning. I used to go to the mincha and ma'ariv service every single day with a minyan. I used to go to shul 3 times a day. I kept kosher. When I was 16, I went to Israel and I studied in a yeshiva. And I kept Shabbat. I never imagined a life where I wouldn't be like a Frum Orthodox Jewish guy. While I was religious, I used to drink all the time, and I did a lot of drugs as well. I was wild, and I just felt like nothing I'd ever done in my life had ever made me into the person I knew deep down inside I could one day become. It always felt like I was doing all the right things, but I never felt close enough to feel embraced by God. I always felt like I had disappointed Him. I saw such a big disconnect between me being religious and my character being formed. I met a girl and she was Christian. She came to the restaurant that I was working in and she saw the way that I was treating staff, and she burst out crying because I just wasn't a decent human being. I was aggressive, I was obnoxious, and I wanted everything my way. Kara's mother gave me a Bible, so I had like a negotiation happening in my head. First was, take the Bible and see Kara again. Don't take the Bible and probably don't see Kara again. It was a very easy decision to make. So I took it and then I hid it in the back of my cupboard. I was completely concerned that if I read this book, I'd be reading the most anti-Semitic book ever written. I'm going to show these Christians that they're wrong, that Jesus can't be the Messiah. Why? Because in order for him to be the Messiah, he needs to be Mashiach ben David, the Messiah son of David. And I knew they probably didn't even understand the credentials that needed to go with being the Messiah. I was one day sitting on my bed and I was being really convicted that I was a sinner. And I went to God and I said, how do I change? And as I sat on my bed, I began to weep because I couldn't get the image of this Bible that I had hid in the back of my cupboard out of my head. I stood up, I walked to my cupboard, and I opened this Bible. It fell on Matthew chapter 1, and there it was, the first sentence. This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Ever since I was little, I was waiting for Messiah. And here was the explanation. Here was the fulfillment. To follow Jesus as a Jew it's not easy. When I told my parents, they were horrified. And so my dad said to me that God doesn't love me anymore. I was traumatized by this. I phoned Kara and I said, what have I done? She told me to calm down and meet her for coffee. When I arrived at the coffee shop, there was a waiter standing in the store and he was staring at me incessantly. When I sat down, he came to the table and I said to him, why are you staring at me? And he said, well, I was praying a few months ago and I felt like there was a guy that was going to come into this coffee shop and God was going to show me when it was him. I had to give him a message. I've written it in the foam of your coffee. And he put my latte down, and in the foam of my coffee he had written, God loves you. So despite what I had been told and what I had heard, God loves me. People thought I was crazy. They used to use like phrases like, oh, this is just something he's going through. What they couldn't see at the time is it was a decision that was going to change the rest of my life. And I was finally going to become the person that I knew I could always be. I would say to anybody that is investigating Jesus as Messiah, if you're Jewish and you're saying, whoa, I don't think I can go down this road. I'm going to lose too much. What you will gain by knowing your Messiah, Jesus, will completely overcome all the things you might think you might lose. Go for it. Let Jesus come into your heart. Let him come into your life and let him wow you with what he's going to do for you.